But it's salvageable. It's salvageable. Why the W community comments turning on you, bro? What do you mean? What dog? Why wouldn't the W community turn on me? They are the type of people who literally do not understand politics, do not watch politics. At least they're like Free Palestine, so I don't care. But they're like 14. Not even the type of people. They're just kids. When did you expect a bunch of fucking 14-year-olds to be like, I'm really primarily invested in politics? You know what I mean? The podcast app has been getting clipped like crazy. Yeah. The fun sheet he's referring to, wait, who is streaming with Destiny and actually debating, by the way? Yeah, no, that's not true. Hasan, thank you for your service. Any moment that makes Hasan look bad is a great one for our country. Who watches Hasan? I don't really get too upset about stuff like this, and you shouldn't either, because they're literally fucking 14 years old, and eventually they're going to grow out of it, and they're going to start developing their political perspective and realize that this is like, you know, racist as fuck. And then there's also a shit ton of brigading. I'd rather watch Destiny taking notes from obscure articles in silence for 8 hours than Hasan or Asman browsing Twitter. You know, like there's obviously always going to be brigaders as well. But he would watch if you gamed. Isn't he 25? What do you mean? Who is 14 years old? He's 25. He's 25 years old. His audience is like 14, though. A lot of the W and L community is very young. And even the older, the older members of the W and L community are still like, you know, they're not very interested. They're not very interested at all in politics, let's just say. Great. Now Hasan will be in a bad mood all week. Yeah, I'm such a bad mood. So is the comment section of 14-year-olds brigading adults who are into 14-year-olds? Yes. I can't believe you forgot about this song. What the fuck is the WNL community? You mean young Gen Z? Yeah. Heads up, you haven't blasted off yet? Oh, true. Good call, good call, good call. Let's do it. Please explain who these people are and what do they do? I'm so confused. So that was Arky and Yugi. They're awesome. I love them. They're very funny. They're younger, new generation streamers. They come from like the WNL community. WNL community is like crude. Is a moniker, is a way to describe like streamers, like the next gen streamers after what they call us as the poggers community. Actually, we literally explained it in the fucking podcast. Just watch the podcast. Watch the podcast and you'll realize what the distinction is. Anyway, Zelensky, Netanyahu, and DC. Francesca Hong surges in the polls. Strait still closed. Situation monitor. Iran strikes first. Trita Parsi on later. Norm Finkelstein tomorrow. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I've been teasing a very, 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 very special guest for the entire week. And it's here. It's happening tomorrow. His name is Norm Finkelstein. And I am going to have the honor of hosting him in my home, in person, in Los Angeles. That's right. We're finally doing it. We're finally doing it. It's finally happening. I know many of you have long awaited this moment. You found him like they did the former leader of Hamas. You don't think the WNL community watched Finkelstein? No, look, the WNL community broadly is like pro-Palestine. They don't like Trump that much. Some of them may still harbor some kind of like sympathetic feeling towards Trump because they'll say stuff like, oh, he has aura or whatever. But most of them don't like Trump. Most of them don't fuck with ICE. So I don't really care if they don't fuck with me. I don't, who gives a fuck? Whatever. They will eventually grow out of it, and they will get to a point where they are more invested in politics. It's just not going to happen in the interim. It's not going to happen in the short term. But I'm not too worried. I'm not too worried about where they're at, because did you see you're in a movie? Yeah, American Doctor. I know. New Abdul poll is dropped post Whitaker endorsement and not an internal. Yeah, I know. We're gonna do all of that. Many of the WNL community fandom can't vote yet because they're too young, and the ones who can vote, I don't think care to. So, but overall, their politics are probably all over the place. Most people's politics are all over the place. They eventually will grow out of that phase of being like, oh, I don't really care about politics. Like, who gives a shit? Some of them will probably become reactionary. Some of them will become right wing, and they'll say, oh, taxes are fucking terrible. Why am I getting taxed? They'll slot themselves into the expected American political tendencies, the median voter, if they become voters at all. Can't believe you can't be talking about this with that image. Charlie Kirk porno? You can't be talking about this with that image? Wait, what's wrong with this image? What? That's the newest conservative commentator who's trying to goon bait and Cooter Max. Coochie Max. Cooter Max. Whatever it's called. This was peak himbo and coworker era.
Greek hunter, also the most famous belt in the world. I'd like to use a lifeline. Can I call up Hasan? Hasan, come up here. Where you at? Let me see him. Get up here. Get the fuck up here, baby. Round of applause for Hasan, baby. What do you think the answer is? You don't fucking know? Everyone's gonna think you're stupid. Yep.
The mythical Greek hunter and also the most famous belt in the world.
What'd he say?
Orion?
I would go with that answer.
Can I drop this?
I'm gonna send it. Mike, drop that bitch. Oh! The mythical.
Damn, this shit is sad. Not gonna lie. What the fuck went wrong? Politics, baby. Money, politics, more like politricks. Mass harassment campaigns that sought to isolate me from the rest of the community by consistently harassing people and punishing them for daring to collaborate with me in any capacity. Ludwig still to this day gets inundated with a barrage of attacks from some of the sweatiest fucking losers on the internet who literally claim that he's my dog. Like I dog walk him. Like he has no opinions of his own. Cause like there is a endless appetite to brigade by right-wing groups that can masquerade as like apolitical on the internet. That mask themselves, mask their politics, and there's a lot of success. We've talked about this before. There's been a tremendous amount of success in the apolitical commentary sphere of the idea that like I am peak woke, I'm wrong, I'm everything that's wrong with woke, and I'm just like a fucking huge villain, and anyone that doesn't immediately criticize me all day, every day in the same exact fucking ways that these like psychopaths obsess over are obviously in the pocket and are being blackmailed by me and shit like that. all this stuff obviously accelerated post October 7. It got far worse after October 7. There's a decent chunk of the NMP community that thinks you're grooming Nick to regurgitate your talking points. Yes. Okay. One of the things that you guys have to understand because a lot of people complain in here, they're like, why do you always do politics? That's why, bro. That's why. It's like, well, part of it is because there's a lot of important shit going on in the world. Okay. So I have to do more politics than ever before. That's number one. But the other reason why I don't do as many collabs is because I just don't want to fucking bring that level of like animosity towards other random people. You know? That's it. Everyone in this industry knows I have the most vicious fucking psychopathic stalkers. Everyone in this industry knows that no matter what happens, like if you align with me in any way, shape, or form, they'll make your life a fucking living hell. And some people can handle that heat and they don't give a shit. Some people are totally tapped out of it. But for most people, they're like, I don't want to rock the boat. They've had some successful initiatives in brigading with like Trash Taste podcast, shit like that. My hope is to simply fucking wait it out. Because eventually, when the cultural forces shift, it was really bad when Trump first became president. It was really bad between 2023, the end of 2023, 2024, and 2025. The reason for why it was really bad was because the overall culture had shifted dramatically to the right. Since then, woke has made a comeback in a fairly meaningful capacity. And that's part of the reason why, since woke has made somewhat of a comeback, people are a little bit more open-minded to the things that I'm advocating for, to the things that I push for. They're a little bit more curious about it. Okay? Woke 2.0 has been on the come up. Obviously, none of this has anything to do with normies in the real world, by the way. Most people in the real world like me and have nothing to do. We're talking specifically about the internet. It has a tendency to impact the normie sphere as well. But for the most part, what we're talking about is like Twitch streams, YouTube, commentary sphere, that kind of shit. And one of the greatest examples of this is the treatment that I received, the treatment that a lot of people who are pro-Palestine received for the first 2 years, being inundated with an endless barrage of ridiculous smears, like calling me a terrorist and having no line of defense from my peers. None of them came out and were like, hey, this is really fucking racist. We should stop this. Like woke 1.0, that shit would not have slided. They would have never let that slide. Like if woke 1.0 in like 2020, if a bunch of prominent Twitch streamers were playing, slided. Woke 1.0, if a bunch of prominent Twitch streamers were fucking turning around playing a game called like Twitch Streamer or Terrorist, where they had like prominent Muslim, Arab, pro-Palestine Twitch streamers, and they were being compared to like Osama bin Laden, everybody else in the community would have been like, this is fucking unacceptable. What are you doing? Yeah, they'd get lit up on Twitter. Twitter is very different now. Twitter is very right-wing. That obviously has the capacity to change people's perception of like what is permissible, what is acceptable. It sucks, but that's how it works. But yeah, there is definitely an endless amount of extremely online losers who spend every waking moment on the internet, and they spend a good deal of time just trying to make people's life a living hell. And the only thing that they respond to, because they're not like very they don't have like a lot of
Never watched my shit.
sound political points of view. Like they don't have like a firmly established political point of view at all. And they just simply lean into like vibes in general. And because they do that, when the vibes are right wing, when they see a lot of like right wing brigaded comment sections, they think, oh, this is normal. This is what like the majority believes. This is what the cool kids believe. And that's how they establish their political political point of view, their political worldview. But those people are very malleable. Those people have not they have not committed to a political worldview. They're just going along with what they think the vibes are. It's actually that easy. Which is part of the reason why, as I'm saying over and over again, like a lot of these people, many of you have found yourself in the alt-right pipeline back in the day for this exact same reason, right? You probably found yourself in the alt-right pipeline for this exact same reason. You probably watched like Joe Rogan, then you watched that Ben Shapiro video and you were like, oh, these guys are like owning the fucking libtards. It's awesome. And before you knew it, you were, more and more invested in the right-wing sphere. And it took a lot for something to snap you out of it. But that was like the Gamergate era. That never really went away. That agitative propaganda on the right still exists. The algorithm still very much favors reactionary right-wing commentary. It's not a secret, especially on platforms like YouTube, for example. And Twitter plays a big role in this as well. So, yeah. For many of you, I was the guy who snapped you out of it, right? Or eventually, I played a role in your awakening, in your development, in your political development. So I obviously am going to keep doing what I'm doing to varying degrees of success, but we are there. We're definitely there. I think the broader cultural forces are shifting in our direction once again. The pendulum is swinging back. And obviously, it's important for all of us to maintain some sort of posture to show people that this kind of attitude is unacceptable. The reactionary point of view is unacceptable. To tell people to not be bigoted. Of course, not in a way where it's like cynical, hollow weaponization of like identity politics as it was in Woke 1.0 from a position of like moral superiority. That was one of the worst aspects of Woke 1.0. I was very critical of that at the time as well, even though, people didn't really listen to me. But, in Woke 2.0, I think we can both have fun and be woke and call out bad behavior. Is Hasan getting paid by the CCP? I'm getting paid by the viewers. The Piker Broadcasting Service, PBS, the People's Broadcasting Service, is sponsored by you, the people, for you, the people. It was unironically Red Shambhala edits on TikTok that got me out of it. Hey, whatever works for you, man. But yeah, when you see like normies or people who are politically uninitiated develop some kind of like reactionary point of view, don't feel discouraged by that. Don't get upset by that. For the apolitical normies or for the apolitical people on the internet, they don't have a well-established, developed point of view. They don't have a political perspective. They don't have the political education. They don't have class consciousness. Many of them are children anyway. And children are at the mercy of the masses. If they see a brigaded comment section leaning in a reactionary perspective, they think, oh, this is cool. This is what people are into. Eventually, they will grow out of it. They will have an experience in their life, as many right-wingers do, where either they will find themselves at odds with the right-wing movement or a loved one will be in the crosshairs of a right-wing policy. And that's when they realize, oh, I need to develop empathy for others. Some never do. Obviously, there's a level of intelligence required for this. There's a level of educational attainment required to get there for many. That's part of the reason why the biggest gap in this country politically is not even around how much money someone makes, but what their level of education is. I believe it's like 60 to 70% leaning in the Democratic Party's direction when you have a college degree or above. The highest likelihood that you will vote for the Democratic Party in this country as a demographic is if you have a degree higher than a Bachelor of Arts or Sciences. Like if you have a graduate degree or a master's degree, then it's like you're almost 100% likely to fucking, it's the highest likelihood that you will be a Democratic Party voter. You're forgetting this 75% of the yard boys are on your side on the political spectrum? What, 75? No, it's 100% of the yard boys are on my side on the political spectrum. What are you talking about? Yes, when I found you in 2018, I was dating a QAnon believer, but I didn't have any idea what the fuck that was. I would ask him to tell me about it or send me links, but I wasn't willing to share anything and only brought it up rarely. Hasan, thanks to you, I learned what the fuck was going on and helped me gain enough awareness to change the trajectory, because the hell was I overlooking before shaking my head? Mobile chatter, by the way. Yeah. There's definitely a huge vibe shift taking place. There's definitely a huge vibe shift taking place right now. And of course, we've always been there. We've been steadfast in our advocacy here in this little corner of the internet. And I will continue doing that. So I will always be open-minded and charitable to those who have gone through their own journey and arrived at this destination. I will welcome them with open arms, and I will always be there to help educate them.